So before we start, if you have any questions, you can type it out on the group chat. And once we get to the Q&A part, I'm going to answer all the questions one at a time, okay? So this training is about ShineWiLan-X2, which is one of our latest data logger. So what is ShineWiLan-X2? So this is a new data logger. Basically, it's integrated with Wi-Fi, LAN, as well as Bluetooth modules to provide remote monitoring function. So it's important to have this data logger because it does provide a lot of additional features that the previous data loggers doesn't come with. So to make the inverter online, and at this point, if you are in Victoria or uh, South Australia, you have probably have heard of the government's export control, and this is where this data logger comes in. The only way to control the inverter, the usage as well as the export limits, is through this data logger. So let's break down the nomenclature. I understand this is a long name, ShineWiLan-X2. I might get confusing, but this is how it's named. And the reason that it's named in such is that so that we could identify what it does and what it can do. So Shine, it's actually for monitoring and communication purposes, like the Shine phone app. So all our Growatt monitoring devices or applicants has this Shine in front of it. It just means that it's for monitoring purposes. Now, Y here means that it can be connected via Wi-Fi or wireless network. LAN here means LAN cables. So let's say if customers have a Wi-Fi that is out of range, maybe the house is big, the inverter is far away, they could use the LAN cables to connect this data logger to the router straight away. And then X means that this is the X series version, like min TLX, mod TLX, and 2 means that this is already the second version of this data logger. So just a quick history review of our evolution of data loggers. So a long time ago, we started with Shine Wi-Fi S, and a few years ago, we started with ShineLink-X and then Shine Wi-Fi X. So ShineLink-X is for using LAN cables. Shine Wi-Fi X is dedicated only for Wi-Fi. Now Shine X2 is sort of like the combination of these two, meaning that we don't need ShineLink-X anymore, and we don't need Shine Wi-Fi X anymore, because what these two can do, Shine X2 can do it too. So a key breakdown onto the internal component. So at the top you have the USB port, which is similar to how all our data logger is. And then there's an indicator, and then there's a button. So there's only going to be one button in this entire data logger. And at the bottom is the waterproof connector. So it provides a 3-in-1 design, Wi-Fi, LAN, and Bluetooth. And then it also have a plug and play via the LAN connection. And this thing actually makes things much more easier for not just the installer who's supposed to install it on site. It also makes it easier for customer to install this device and to get it connected online. I'm going to go through with you how to get this online later. And it's also very safety and reliable because it does have a built-in memory for at least 1 month of data. And it also comes with an IP65 as a protection. So unlike our inverters, data loggers is considered an accessories, and accessories only come with 2 years of warranty. The weight for this is 94 grams, which is pretty light. The width is 47 millimeters. Height is around 152, making it one of the tallest data loggers we have. The depth is 28 millimeters, and the protection grade, as I mentioned earlier, is IP65. So the network requirements here are very important because this is basically the same requirements that we are still using with our previous data loggers. So Wi-Fi frequency, we still have to stick with 2.4 gigahertz. That means that it can't be a combination of 5 and 2.4. It has to be 2.4 itself. The Wi-Fi name must not exceed 13 characters. It needs to stay below it. And the Wi-Fi password as well. And these two has to have characters that is recognizable. Let's say you can't have Chinese characters as the Wi-Fi password nor the name. And of course, you need to have a strong signal in order to get this thing connect. So assembling a data logger is pretty straightforward. Just make sure that there is a triangle icon. Make sure that the triangle icon is pointing upwards when you insert it. And then once you insert it to the USB port, just make sure that you rotate it clockwise to lock it in. So like I mentioned, there is the part for the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and there is also the part for the LAN cables. Now, the LED status here, there's only going to be three lights here. So off means that there's no light. Basically, it means that the data logger is not powered on. And then the steady white, it means that the data logger has been connected. It's initializing. Just wait until you finish in the initialization. Now, there's a small difference here. The previous data loggers we used has a red indicator, which stands for initializations. But for this one, it's actually white in color. And then there's the steady blue. So blue, as per the previous ones, it means that it's in Bluetooth mode. It means that it's ready for connection, but it doesn't mean that it's connected. So, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to use a ShinePhone app as well. So first thing you do, if you're new to this device or new to our products, is download a ShinePhone app from Google Store or Apple Play Store or Apple Store, sorry. And then make sure that you register an account, and you have to create, you need to create a plan for at least one plan for each account. A plan is used to check the devices. It's like a house. So if you have multiple houses, you want to make it under one account, you can go ahead and create multiple plans. One plans can have up to a few inverters as well. So it's like treating a plant as a house, as a home for monitoring purposes. So once you get through it, next thing you do is go to the plan page and then click Add Data Logger. So it's going to show you the scanning page and then scan the QR code. Now, if you can't scan the QR code, there's always a different way, which is the menu here. So you can manually enter the serial number of the data logger, and there's also a check code behind. So just enter these two details, and it's the same as scanning the QR code. So once you have that, first thing you do is in a Wi-Fi connection, you're going to press on Wi-Fi and make sure that your Bluetooth on your phone is open. Normally the Bluetooth will open automatically by itself, but just make sure that it is open. And the data logger is going to connect to your phone via Bluetooth. And once the Bluetooth connection is established, normally this happens very quickly, assuming that you're standing right in front of the data logger. So once that's successful, it's going to go to the next one, which is configuring, getting it to the router. So just click next, and then it's going to start configuring it. Now, the whole process normally takes 2 to 3 minutes. It's very, very straightforward. Make sure that you enter the correct details for the Wi-Fi name and password, because normally that's where the issue happens. And after that, you're done. That's it. The inverter is online. Just make sure you refresh the page, and that's it. Now, the second connecting method is through LAN cables. Now, to connect a LAN cables, you will have to make sure that there is a LAN cable exists. Now, note that LAN cables are self-provided. Growatt will not provide the LAN cables. So make sure to have a compatible LAN cables. And to connect the LAN cables, all you have to do is basically unscrew the bottom part of the data logger and make sure that you don't leave any components behind, because that's where the components you need when it comes to locking them in again. So connect the end of the bottom of the data logger to the LAN cables and make sure that they are connected firmly. This is basically how it looks like. So the white cables is the LAN cables, and this is the breakdown of the ShineWiLan-X2. That's the body, and then there's the waterproof connected body, the waterproof plug, and the waterproof cover connector. Now, the only thing that you can remove here is the waterproof plug, because once you inserted the LAN cables, you have to make sure that the waterproof connected body is attached firmly, so that if it comes to your raining season, this won't affect the LAN cables itself. So this is basically how it looks like once the bottom part of the LAN cables have been connected, and just make sure that you have a click sound once it's connected. Now, LAN cables is more of a hardware kind of process. Once you got that part done, you don't even need Bluetooth anymore. Just make sure that you click LAN connection, and basically it's gonna connect to the internet itself. So it's a rather straightforward process. So here, just make sure that when it comes to troubleshooting, if the data logger is always flashing green, it means that it can be powered on. However, it just can't connect to the inverter or the router, meaning that it's either a Wi-Fi issue or something is causing the disconnection between the data logger and the inverter. So make sure that the network requirements are met. That's the first thing. Make sure that internet is 2.4 gigahertz, and then make sure that there's no typo between the password and the Wi-Fi name. Now, if this issue persists, if you have make sure that all the requirements are done, but the issue is still happening, just make sure that you contact us only when this happens. So the monitoring interface here, similar as our previous product, will be via ShinePhone app or online. So you could either use the ShinePhone app to check the inverter status, or you could go to our server, which is server-au.growatt.com, and log in with using the customer's details, and that's it. You can see everything, the production, the battery information. So it's going to be the same as the previous one. So why ShineWiLan-X2? Now, as mentioned by my colleague Rex earlier, this is going to be our latest data logger released to the market. I personally like this product as well because not only does it offer a two or three in one option, which is you can use it either for Wi-Fi or LAN. If Wi-Fi doesn't work, which is a more complicated process, you can use the LAN cables to connect it. And in this case, it means that anyone can connect it because out of our as the after sales, out of a lot of the problems we have dealt with, Wi-Fi connection is actually one of the most frequent issues. And now we're taking another step further to make sure that we can simplify this process as much as possible and make the connection process as straightforward as possible, so that not only installers can connect it without engaging with us, the customers too can connect it by themselves by simply having either LAN cables or just internet and the phone. And lastly, one of the most important thing here is for dynamic export control, which is something that has been implemented since last year by the government of South Australia and Victoria. Now, the only way to achieve a dynamic export control is through ShineWiLan-X2, which is designed also primarily for these two states so that it could support this function. Next is that it also has a reliable performance because this data logger has been pretty consistent so far. And it also supports a lot of inverters as long as the USB port itself is a USB, and then you can use ShineWiLan-X2 straight away. So now I'm going to present a live demo for using the USB because the LAN cable is pretty straightforward. So we're just going to spend all the time on the USB. Now there's going to be two demonstrations. One is for connecting a successful data logger, and the other one is for connecting in a troubleshooting, connecting a faulty data logger, and to let you know what kind of things you have to look at and what are the steps taken before reaching out to us and say, hey, something is wrong with my data logger. I will need some help here, or the data logger may be faulty. Yeah, so we're going to start the live demo right now. Okay, so guys, let me know if you can't hear me. So there's going to be two data loggers here. We're going to use SPH hub for demonstrations. As long as there's a USB port at the bottom of the inverter, these data loggers are going to be eligible for use. So right now, this one on my left is a faulty one, and then on my right is the one that can be used. So I'm going to start by checking this in. So make sure that the triangle icon is pointing upwards, and just make sure that you open the cover, and you can leave the cover ajar and just chuck it in. Okay. Now just wait for it to power on. So in the meantime, you're gonna see that there's a white color here. So it means that the data logger is initializing. So all we have to do is probably just wait for it. Now in the meantime, we're just gonna go to the app. Now open your ShinePhone app, and then make sure that your details have been entered, and then sign in. Oh, let me just agree to log in. Okay, and now click plug, and then click add data logger. Oh, remember to click my button and then click add data logger. So in this case, we're going to check the data logger status. So right now it's flashing blue. So if it's not flashing blue, just make sure you click the reset button until it's flashing blue. Once it's flashing blue, solid blue, it's going to be in Bluetooth mode. So in this case, you can start scanning it. Okay, once the data logger has been scanned, make sure that there is details on the serial number as well as the check code. So click confirm, and then in this case, click Wi-Fi connection. Now, the Bluetooth has been turned on this mobile, so it's going to connect with the ShineWiLan-X2. So once that has been connected, make sure to enter your Wi-Fi. Now, this is going to be the customer's home Wi-Fi. I'm just going to enter the password for now. So once the password has been entered, make sure that there is no typo error on the Wi-Fi name as well as the Wi-Fi password. And after that, just click configure immediately. And that's it. It's going to connect to the data logger. The app is going to connect to the data logger, and the data logger is going to connect to the router, and then the router is going to connect to the server. And once the connection is successful, it's going to load and refresh the whole page. So it says that the data logger is configured successfully. It's going to load, and then that's it. It's going to restart it. Okay. So now we're just gonna remove this, and then we're gonna try with a data logger that's not working. So here we have a faulty data logger. Just chuck it in. So in this case, you're gonna notice that it's gonna stuck in the router page. So same thing. Now go to add data logger on the app and then scan the data logger. Now as we scan, just make sure that we review the data logger status. It's currently white. So we're just gonna wait for it to finish initialization before we click confirm on the phone. Okay, so you can see that the initialization is complete. So now just click on the button to make sure that it's a solid blue. If it's flashing solid blue, this means that this is in Bluetooth mode. So next, click confirm and then click Wi-Fi connection. Now it's going to connect to the data logger. There will be no issue connecting between the data logger and the phone, but the issue will happen when it's trying to connect it to get it online. So I have previewed the details here. So when it comes to troubleshooting, there are three things to make to confirm. First thing, make sure that it only supports 2.4 gigahertz as per the second requirements here. So make sure the customer is aware that their Wi-Fi is not a combination of 5 and 2.4 gigahertz, and it's only 2.4. That's the first thing to check. The second thing is the Wi-Fi name must be less than 13 characters, the Wi-Fi password as well, and avoid using special characters like these characters here as per the first requirement. And there shouldn't be characters that is not written in English as well. Okay, and then after that, configure immediately. So if these two requirements has been checked thoroughly, but the data logger is still unable to connect to the internet, like this case, so it's gonna start in this page for quite some time, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So if this happens, if the customer has tried a few times, make sure that the check that the network requirements, the password name, the Wi-Fi name, everything has been checked thoroughly, and the issue, they still couldn't get the inverter online. Then in this case, it could be we suspect that the data logger itself is faulty. There may be some issue with the data logger itself. It is now when it comes to this case, it is when you guys can reach out to us and let us know this data logger is faulty. Maybe you can ask for replacement if the data logger is still under warranty, or if it's out of warranty, you can purchase a new one for the customer. So you can see that it's stuck here compared to the previous one where the connection was established pretty quickly. If it's stuck here for like more than 3 to 4 minutes, normally in these circumstances, the data logger itself is faulty. See, so here failed to connect to server. So after a long time, if this issue persists, this is where you reach out to us. So now I'm gonna go back to my computer. Okay, guys, think that will be the end of the live demo. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to speak out in the group chat. Or in the meantime, we're just gonna go to our customer training satisfaction survey. So make sure that you scan the QR code of the survey and leave some feedbacks in regards to today's training. Oh, sorry, let me try that again. Oh, I just noticed there's a few questions that has been asked in the group, and they have been answered by my colleagues Rex here. So I received one question from Francis James. It's in regards to upgrading the firmware ourselves. I assume this means like upgrading the firmware of the inverter. And unfortunately, to upgrade the firmware of the inverter, this can only be done by our R&D department, which is done via our backend team. Hence, you are unable to upgrade the firmware by yourselves. Uh, So to Francis James' questions, yep, I would say that most of the inverter will come with the latest firmware update. If a firmware update is needed, it's normally on the older inverters. In the meantime, I'm just going to go to the next page, which is for uh, our Facebook installer group. So if you haven't, please join our Facebook installer group. This is where you could discuss your issues with other installers who may have a lot of experience in dealing with Growatt inverters as well as batteries as well. So feel free to join our Facebook installer group. The only requirement in this group is that it's just that it's not for end user, it's only for installers or retailers. So as long as you are representing a company or an installer, you are eligible to join our group. For Alejandro Carrillo's question, there is a list online that you can check. It's on our Zendesk help desk. So just go to Growatt Zendesk support, and that article you can find everything you need to learn about troubleshooting as well as the type of inverters or the type of data loggers that can be connected to which sort of inverters. Well, no worries, Alejandro. Well, if there's no other questions, I think we're just going to close the session now. So thank you all for coming once again, and thank you, Rex, for starting the call, the meeting, and answering some of the questions. I wish you all a happy Monday, and hope you guys enjoy the session today. See ya. Bye bye.